Hey, welcome to this Monday's meditation. My name is Steph Skupin and my company is The Leaders Work, and I work with people in challenging situations, challenging careers who want a little bit more freedom, a little bit more joy in their lives, and who are willing to question their assumptions and what they have held for truth in their lives until now. And these Monday meditations, at the moment we are doing a series of meditations beyond beyond identity. Doesn't matter if you um, haven't participated in the meditations before this one, but you can find them on YouTube. So going beyond I, beyond the identity. Your identity is the center point of your imagined universe. And at the very center of that identity, of who you know yourself as who you are, at that center there is a pinprick of unmoving and unmovable awareness. And in that awareness, the story of who you are is born, is consistently being born again and again and again. And that awareness also holds your whole reality in it. So it's vast, and at the same time it's also minuscule, like so small. The pinprick of a needle. So it's at the beginning and at the end. And in between these poles of awareness, of consciousness, is where the story of your life unfolds. In order to go beyond the egoic identity, beyond the limitation of who you think you are, to connect to that awareness, to know yourself as part of this awareness. So in order to go beyond that identity, you have to understand who you are first, because otherwise you'll never know what you are wanting to go beyond of. So that story of who you are unfolds from past to future. Your story starts from your birth, maybe this lifetime, maybe your birth in some other lifetime, or maybe the birth of life, the first cells, the first elements, the birth of the universe, wherever your story starts. And this past informs who you think you are, the story of who you think you are. And then the future is a prediction of how this past image will most likely continue to evolve. The story of future is a mix of anxious thinking and wishful thinking and some logical reasoning. Engaging with who you are, with the story of past and future. I was that, and then I will be that. When we engage with that, we miss the present moment. Because being present in this moment, being really present with this moment, there is no room for a story. This moment is only now. It's now and now. And as saying it, hearing it, it is already past. I'm sure you've heard this before. It isn't even the length of a breath, because the length, being a measure, needs a start and a finish. It's breathing. It is the flow of a happening. The attention noticing the unity of breathing and breather and breath, air, as it happens. Even that story of breathing, of breath, of you breathing, is a story that will rise and die in this moment. And in this moment, it is all that is real. If this moment right now is all that is real, then the past is a collection of thinking, memory, thought. It's a story, and it doesn't exist in this moment, and the future doesn't exist either. It's not here now. It's not going to be there, and you never know whether it will arrive in some form or the other, assuming you have another day. But as Eckhart Tolle puts it so beautifully, you will only be able to live another day once it is now. So then the question comes up for people, but I do have a past. I do have a past. I know I have a past. And so let's look at that. Eckhart Tolle recommends body awareness as one of the doorways to presence. So allow yourself to sit comfortably and easily in your chair or the floor or your sofa, the sofa you're sitting on. And sit with your chest erect, your spine erect, and your chest open so the breath can flow naturally. And if you haven't done so yet, you may close your eyes and just become aware of the breath. Whatever your rhythm of breath is right now, just notice it, become aware of it, pay attention to it without influencing it in any way. This is your natural rhythm of breath right in this moment. Become aware of the sensations of the breath. Feeling the air flow past your nostrils, hit the back of the throat, and then go down the throat and expand the lungs, expand the rib cage. And then the ribs collapsing, the air coming back out. Pay attention to the sensations of this breathing. Notice that body knows how to breathe, and you don't really have to do anything for it. And then bring your attention back into the body and follow the sensations of breath further down into the body. And just bring your attention all the way down to the feet. Noticing the feet resting on the ground. Becoming aware of the energy, the sensation, toes, ankles. Becoming aware of the lower legs, the knees. And as you move your attention through the body, notice if there is any tension. And if by just bringing your attention to it gently, you can let go of it, you may do so. Become aware of the thighs, the hips and buttocks, area of the genitals. Become aware of the lower abdomen. The region of stomach and liver. Become aware of the chest, the shoulders, arms, hands, fingers. Become aware of the length of the spine, all the way from the sits bone to the base of the skull. Once again, noticing any tensions. Either letting them go gently or just letting them be. Becoming aware of the throat. The face. The top of the head and the back of the head. Becoming aware of the sides around the ears. And the whole body. Becoming aware of the whole body. And imagine a time in your past. Doesn't matter what time. Happy or sad, calm or frightening. Other than through memory, which is thoughts. Can you be sure that this past happened exactly as you remember? What is your proof right now in this moment? You might think, oh, I have photographs sitting here with your eyes closed. Right from this moment, those photographs are memory, thought. Right in this moment, being in this moment, can you know for sure this is what happened? Find one thing that you are fairly certain about in your past. Notice how this one thing has shaped you. Notice how the story of your past gets more and more complex as the tendrils from this event spread out into your life. What would happen if this event hadn't been quite like this? What if the part that you remember isn't the whole truth? Or isn't even true at all? But it is your memory. How would that influence the story of who you are? Who would you be in this moment right now without this story of you? These are the questions used in inquiry, the work of Byron Katie. And these questions have the power to set you free from your past. Understanding how the mind builds identity goes beyond healing of emotional wounds. It allows you to access a place where you realize that your essence could never be harmed, has never been harmed. This is true freedom. Spiritual healing. Bring your attention back to your body. And focus your awareness on one hand, say the right hand, putting it away from the left hand, maybe placing it with the palm facing up on your leg. Just being aware of that sensation of your hand. Other than memory, how would you know that your hand is still the same hand, is still a hand? Without moving the fingers, just feeling. What would that be if you wouldn't use that label? Other than memory, can you be sure that this sensation equates to hand? Your mind might be coming up with energy field, which is another label. And what would you be without that label? Notice how mind wants to come up with an answer. Doesn't want to be not knowing. Yet in this moment right now, knowledge is but a thought of the past. Asking these questions, adopt a Zen attitude of listening, similar to the attitude of a servant waiting for a master to come home at night. Just being, waiting for the sound of approaching. Notice that this is an old image of olden times. Notice how mind might create a story about the use of words, master and servant. And come back to the attitude of listening for an answer, allowing an answer to arrive in its own time. An open attitude of listening. Listening like the young Zen monk who was traveling with his master. It's the Yoda story. There's always two, a master and a student. This is how it used to be. So this master and Zen student are traveling together, and the master doesn't speak much, just happy with being on the road. And the young monk, his mind is going here and there and everywhere and trying to find explanations for the day and his teachings. And eventually, as they settle down for lunch, he can't contain himself any longer. And he says, Master, how do I enter Zen? How do I enter Zen? And the master says, do you hear that distant mountain stream? And the student goes, yes, yes, I hear it, master. And the master says, enter Zen from there. That listening, pointed attention, with this listening, ask yourself, who would I be without this story of myself? Sitting here right now, who or what would I be without this story of my life? From the Tao Te Ching. Can you be still until your mud settles? Can you remain unmoving until the water runs clear? Can you be still until the mud settles? Can you remain unmoving until the water runs clear? Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Once again, become aware of the feet, legs, buttocks, the abdomen, chest, shoulders, arms and hands, the spine, face, and the head. Becoming aware of the whole body. Embodying consciousness. Become aware of the environment you're in. And in your own time, gently, when you're ready, open the eyes again. Thank you for meditating. Thank you for pursuing your healing, the healing of your spirit. If you want to do an exercise this week, spend 2 minutes each day, or maybe twice a day, bringing awareness to your story in that moment. The story of yourself, how it unfolds in that moment. Noticing it. And just asking yourself, who or what would I be without this story right now? Who or what would I be without this story?